Today's video is brought to you by this dog and that dog. Anyway, I actually am focused on food this week. I thought I would ask you all a question. How many of you out there drink alcohol, right? Do you drink alcohol regularly? Do you have it just a few times a month? Do you never drink it? I want to know how many of you out there drink alcohol. Because I know, Tyson, come here, please. Because I know that don't mind me, I've been meal prepping all day. Because I know that I used to drink alcohol a lot. I started drinking alcohol at a really young age, and it became quickly my favorite thing. I didn't get into like all the drugs like some of the people that I grew up with did get into. I was around different substances for a lot of my, early adult, actually late teen, early adult years. I've been around a lot of different substances, but the only one that really I liked besides cigarettes, which I quit 3 years ago or so, was alcohol. I really liked alcohol, or therefore I used it as my coping mechanism. I think one of the things I've learned on my spiritual journey though, and as I started to looking inward and looking at my how I feel, what beverages and foods, how they make me feel, these guys are making me laugh. Okay, and so how what I eat or drink makes me feel, and why and what type of things I go for in different areas of my life. And it's been a while, but a long time ago, I finally dawned on me that I go to alcohol as a coping mechanism when I'm stressed, when I'm emotional, when there's life, it's just not quite where I want it. I go and I drink alcohol, typically beer, hard liquors. I drink it. A Mai Tai is cool. I do like, I had a mimosa for the first time last year, champagne and orange juice. It's actually really tasty. But at home, generally speaking, I would have like a Seagram's wine cooler, or I'd have like Bud Light or something, or a Heineken. Like, I was always more of a beer person, and so, or a fruity wine cooler. But I wouldn't just drink a few, I would drink a lot. So one summer I didn't have my kids. I went through a really interesting season in my life, and I had to actually have my kids stay with their dad for a summer, and I stayed with my dad and stepmom, actually, and my bonus mom, because we didn't have anywhere to live. And so I had to make sure like everybody could go everywhere. We couldn't all stay at my dad's, we couldn't all stay at my mother's house, so there was no place for all of us to go, so we had to kind of separate out to other places. And during that time, because I didn't have my kids, and for years my kids had predominantly been with me primarily, even though we co-parented and everything, they were like an extension of me, and I for a summer did not have them sleeping in my house or anything because I didn't really have a house. So I was at my dad's, and I drank. I got in with some not so great people. They weren't bad people, but they were partiers, that kind of people. That weren't great for me, meaning like because I didn't want to party all the time, but I did, and I started drinking like a lot. And why do you think, a mom that doesn't have her kids due to no fault of her own, all of a sudden is living without her kids predominantly, when she primarily had her kids more often than not? Why do you think someone like that, who previously turned to alcohol for these kind of reasons, to sink away from reality, what do you think she's gonna do? She's gonna turn to alcohol. Now, it was rough. I drank a lot during that summer, and looking back, it's like I wasted so much time drinking to try to just numb my feelings. And finally, I worked through it. I had to go to therapy. I had to get all my stuff straightened out, and of course, I had to work. I had to work for my clients so that I could get a place for my kids and I, so we could all come back. And so we did. I worked really hard. I got a loan. I was able to rebuild my credit, and it was fantastic. It was so fantastic. And then, so anyway, that there was some rough patches in those couple of years after an incident I went through, and a previous unhealthy relationship. Nothing big deal, but it was a big deal to us, but not a big deal to be sharing. And but that's when I started recognizing like the alcohol. Like, I don't want to drink to cope with something. I don't want to be like, oh, I really need alcohol. It's almost like emotional eating for some people. That's what alcohol was for me. And that's what it was really becoming. And I'm like, no, you know what? I don't like how I act when I drink too much. I make really poor irrational decisions if I drink too much. And depending upon what environment I'm in, I can make some really bad choices that don't align with my morals and my value system and my spiritual beliefs. So I said, no more. You know what? No more. I'm going to drink alcohol occasionally. I don't want to like never have it, but it's not going to be a predominant factor in my life, if ever, you know? So if I go on like I know we go out in New Hampshire on boat rides, like boat tours, and they have an open bar. I might have a mimosa when I'm doing that, you know, 1 mimosa or 2 mimosas, but it's not going to be like a 12 pack or an 18 pack. So I'm not going to say I'm never going to have it, but it just doesn't serve a predominance. It doesn't serve a primary space in my life, because I started thinking about, how do I feel? Why am I drinking? Why am I eating? What am I doing? You know? So the same goes with foods. Now that I knew the alcohol thing, it's not a big part of our life. We have alcohol, we have hard liquor, those sort of things, but you'll very rarely find us drinking it. And for the next 30 days, starting, we're in December, starting December 30th or something. So basically January, sorry. Why am I thinking I'm in December? Anyway, February. For the whole month of February, we are right now January 30th. For the whole month of February, I will not be drinking alcohol. I'm going on 30 days, no alcohol, no sugar, no grains, a bunch of different things. We're kind of changing diets here and giving this 30-day thing a try, seeing how it works for us. So, the biggest thing I'm trying to talk to you about is not so much substance abuse, although that is part of my discussion. It's more so on just little things like food abuse, overeating of fake sugars, overeating of snack foods, overeating of heavily processed foods, overeating of all these things that really, they end up just fueling depression. They end up making you feel sad and worthless, and they make you really tired, lethargic. They mess with your brain. And that is something that I'm trying to deter. I want to be healthier. I want to make sure that when I am older, I'm 42 now, when I'm older, that I'm doing all I can now to be healthier, have a higher risk of being healthier when I'm older. Now, obviously no one has control over that, but I feel like if I can make some good choices now, then I foresee that my risk level of being healthier in the future is higher. So that I've switched over the past few years to eating closer to natural. We tried removing a lot of the tags that said we went with non-GMO and organic whenever possible, but non-GMO has now switched products that have genetically modified ingredients in them. They now say contains bioengineered product in them. So, and there's so many of them out there. I mean, soups I used to eat growing up, they have that in there, bioengineered. And, you know, I know everyone has an opinion on it, and that's okay. I'm not telling you how to eat. But I have started switching my diets in those ways. And each time I eat something, I recognize, do I feel more tired at the end of the day? Do I feel more awake after I eat it? Am I getting a better sleep? I have my watch, which I can hopefully be able to link to down here. If not, it will be in my main link tree, the link tree / a cup of happy link. It will be in that link online. And because this watch has saved me in the blood pressure department, it has saved me in all sorts of ways. It's a lifesaver. So I like to document my sleep and kind of see, okay, what did I eat that day? Did I have too much sugar? Did I not have enough protein? What's going on? And so that's how you can really get better in your life, honestly, is starting with foods and drink. Start asking yourself why you're reaching for something. You're reaching for those bag of chips, you know, and you're like, oh, and you eat the whole bag of chips and you're like, oh my gosh, I just ate that whole bag. Did that help you? Did that make you feel better? Did it make you feel worse? Did it make you feel the same? Like, how did that make you feel in your body? Not like necessarily your emotions, but in your body. Does your body feel like that bag of chips you just ate, it got fuel to enjoy life more? Or do you feel more lethargic and don't have as much energy? Those are the things to pay attention to if you're interested in just feeling better. We tend to associate all these highly processed junk foods and alcohol and sugars with feeling good. But what I've come to find is they don't make me feel good. Sure, you might get a little bit of a high and a hit with the alcohol when you get a buzz, or with the sugary foods when you first eat it. Oh, it's so delightful, right? But long term, that's not a way to survive and live and feel great. I know that at first when you detox off of all those gross things that you shouldn't be having that don't make you feel in the body energetic and healthy, it's going to be hard. But I'm here. Let me know how I can help you. Obviously, talk to your doctor because I have no idea what your health conditions are. So you need to make sure that any diet changes you make are safe. Like, I know my underlying health conditions that I've had or that I'm predisposed to having. Therefore, I can work with my doctor and they can say, okay, no, don't do that. I know that I have to stay away from certain herbs. So those are things that like a doctor or a dietitian, nutritionalist, those kind of people would be better help with you. I'm more here to help you in the mentality of breaking changes down into these little tiny steps that are manageable, and you do them one by one. I'm heading into year 5 of all these very tiny changes. You know, it started with quitting drinking so for a few months or a month or two, I think it's 3 months, so that I could then quit smoking cigarettes. And then when I quit smoking cigarettes, I put on a bunch of weight. I forget what it was. I put on a bunch of weight because I started replacing cigarettes with sugary treats and junk food, right? A lot of people do that. And then I noticed, oh gosh, I don't want to be this big. I don't want to keep gaining weight and get to the point of being extremely unhealthy, knowing that I'm doing it to myself. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to start changing my habits. I'm not going to be snacking on these things anymore. And then progressively each year or every 6 months or so, changes happened. I made those little baby steps, and here it's almost, 4 or 5 years later, and I'm now trying to really remove a lot of those added sugars, because I don't think cane sugar is bad for you. For most people, I just think that it needs to be a balance. And when every American food has added sugar, your whole plate's basically sugar, and they add sugar to stuff that's just unnecessary. So I'm removing sugars and trying to figure out a new way of enjoying meals, which isn't hard for me because we already kind of did those changes. So I would love to hear more about you and what's going on with you. How has your journey with food been? I'm obviously coming at it without any sort of major eating disorders, although I've probably mentioned a few in this video, but I've never been diagnosed with any sort of eating disorder. And I would say maybe emotional eating has been a culprit in my life, of course. And I know some of you out there really struggle. So I'd love to see if I can come up with a creative path for you to at least even just include one new healthier option in. Like, even if you just add like a little, like 42 grams of a salad, a bowl of greens into your day, things like that, because I know you can feel better and I know you can do better. And I know that all of us on the internet, me, myself included, sometimes we make it seem like it's such a big project. You have to do this big, gigantic goal, and you don't. You can break it down into little steps. Like I said, I'm 5 years into this and I'm still making little changes. It's okay. It's okay to do it. It's actually best to do it a little at a time. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening. And if you listen this far, drop me a comment. Let me know what your favorite vegetable is. Peace and love.